Hello and happy Tuesday. I'm hoping you all did your math lesson yesterday. We began lesson 3. Remember, we are on mod 2. We only did part of the lesson because I wanted to finish it up today with you. We're on page S13, it looks like, and it says exercises 1 through 6. The problem says for the following exercises, rewrite the division problems, then be sure to draw a model to support your answer. We're not going to do everything on this page, but I want you to go ahead and follow along and write down what I write. It says how many fourths are in 3/4. So I want to know how many fourths are in 3/4. So that means I'm going to take 3/4 and I'm going to divide it by fourths, 1/4. Okay? We're going to make a model in order to solve that problem. So our model is, remember, yesterday we had a common denominator. Because we had a common denominator, our model is we're going to make this first one here 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and make 4 boxes, and I'm going to shade 3 of them. Okay, so go ahead and make your model. Once we make our model, then we know we're taking 3/4 and we are going to divide it into groups of 1/4. 1 of the 4, 1 of the 4, 1 of the 4. This is not colored, so we don't need to circle it. And so we found out that the answer is 3. So our answer is 3. Now, remember, the other thing we talked about is there's a simpler way besides making models, and that's what we're going to end up doing. We've been doing what we call keep, change, and flip. So we're going to keep the 3/4. We are going to change to multiply, and we are going to flip 1/4 to 4/1. For those of you that want to do the little simplify trick, you will notice that we have a 4 that is listed in the numerator and the denominator. Remember, we have to have one listed on top and the bottom. They can't be both on the bottom to cancel. So because I have a 4 in the denominator, 4 goes into 4 once. And we have one here on the top of the numerator, 4 goes into 4 once. So I now have 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1. This is a top-heavy fraction. Most of us know that 3 divided by 1 is 3, so I have the same answer. Okay, so scrolling down, it says, how are example 2 and exercise 1 similar? Well, example 2, instead of flipping back our book, I went ahead and wrote the problem down. Example 2 is this, 9/12 divided by 3/12. We did it on the page before. We drew boxes, we circled, and we found out that the answer was 3 on the page before. So how is this similar to this? Well, let's look. They both have the answer of 3. But what is that word called? It's not that when we divide, we use the word quotient. So we're going to say they both have a quotient of 3. Oh, fix that there, of 3. Okay, remember, this is our quotient. This number here, that means that number is our quotient. This number in the front is called our dividends. Let's label that one more time. And we are dividing by our divisor. Okay, so up here we had a dividend, divisor, quotient, dividend, divisor, quotient. How are these two problems similar? They were similar because they both have a quotient of 3. If you notice, though, it says here, how are the divisors and dividends related? Well, let's look at the 2 dividends. Here's one dividend. Let's write that, 9/12. And the dividend up here was 3/4. What do you notice about those 2? Well, if you notice, if you look at your factor sheet, for those of you that don't know your factors, you look at the factors for 9, 1, 3, and 9. Factors for 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The largest factor that they both have is a 3. So let's see, if I had the 3 here, 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 4 is 12. So these two are actually equivalent. This simplifies from 9/12 to 3/4. Well, let's look at the dividends. Well, my dividend here was 3/12, and my dividend up here was 1/4. Would those two equal each other? What number could I use? I think 3 goes into both of these again. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. So it looks like these were equivalent. So if you notice, not only were our quotients the exact same thing, but our dividends were equivalent after reducing, and our divisors. Okay? All right. Your teachers may do some more practice with simplifying fractions with you in the classroom, and if they do, if you have this factor sheet, you might want to use that. All right, so go ahead and actually let's turn to the next page, please. So for the next few problems, we're not going to continue making models. We're going to continue doing what I've been trying to say over and over, and that is keep, change, flip. We are dividing with fractions, so we're going to keep 4/5. We're going to change to multiply, and we are going to flip 2/5 to 5/2. Hopefully most of you are seeing that there's something we can reduce. I do see a 5 on the top and a 5 on the bottom, so we can actually cross reduce. 5 goes into 5 once, and 5 goes into 5 once here. 4 times 1 is 4, and 1 times 2 is 2. This is a top-heavy fraction, which means I need to do 4 divided by 2. Most of you already know that 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our answer here was 2. Let's pretend, though, that you're one of those students who did not see that we could reduce it. Let's see what would happen. Go ahead and write this problem down as well in your books. So if I have 4/5, keep, change, and I flip. So I'm going to do the exact same problem, but I'm not going to reduce it here. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10. I still have a top-heavy fraction. I have 20 divided by 10. Well, most of us know that if I take 20 divided by 10, 10 goes into 20 2 times. And if you notice, look at this, same answer. So if you don't simplify the problem, you will eventually get the same answer. It just might take you a little bit longer to solve the problem. Okay, let's go down to problem number 3. Keep, change, flip. Keep 9/4. Change to multiply. Flip to 4/3. Okay. You guys decide whether or not you want to simplify. I want to simplify because it's going to be easier. I see a 4 on top and a 4 on bottom. 4 goes into 4 once, and 4 goes into 4 once. 9 times 1 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. I have a top-heavy fraction. It is 9 divided by 3. Some of you already know that 9 divided by 3 is 3. Those of you that don't, go ahead and solve your problem over here, and you still get the answer of 3. Okay, let's do the next one. 7/8 divided by 2/8. Keep, change, flip. Once again, I can reduce. I see an 8 on the top and the bottom. 8 goes into 8 once. 8 goes into 8 once. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, this is a top-heavy fraction, and because it is, I need to do 7 divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 7? It goes in there 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. My answer is 3 1/2. And so I circle my answer as 3 1/2. Okay, hopefully the more practice we're doing, the better you are getting at this. Let's go ahead and flip our book over to our last few problems. Okay, so we have 13/10 divided by 2/10 and 11/9 over 3/9. If you are feeling pretty confident in yourself, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can solve them on your own. And then when you're ready to check it, turn the video back on. Okay, so I'm going to do keep 13 tenths, change to multiply, flip 10 over 2, 10 on top and 10 on bottom. 10 goes into 10 once, 10 goes into 10 once. 13 times 1 is 13, and 1 times 2 is 2. Top heavy fraction, hopefully you guys noticed that, and you did 13 divided by 2. 2 cannot go into 1, but 2 can go into 13 6 times, which is 12. My answer is 6 and 1/2. Okay, last one. Keep, change, and flip. 9/3. 9s, look at this. We can reduce. 9 goes into 9 once. 9 goes into 9 once. 11 times 1 is 11. 1 times 3 is 3. That's a top-heavy fraction. So I must do 11 divided by 3. 3 does not go into 1, but it does go into 11 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. 11 minus 9 is 2. I have an answer of 3 2/3. Okay, so hopefully you guys are starting to understand how to divide with fractions. We're going to keep working with fractions in this module. Always remember your keep, change, flip, or whatever the saying is that your teacher might be using in your classroom. You will probably have a Google form to fill out for your homework. I hope you guys all have a great afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you all again on Wednesday.